This is a issue of Thor. It's my favorite story arc of the character in printed form, and the reason it's my favorite. The reason it's my favorite story arc in Thor's history is because it really defines him as a character, and it really shows the links of his godlyhood and his superhero origin or roots, and what the character is all about. So in this story arc, we find that Thor has been flung far into an almost unknown part of the universe, and he ends up on this planet. And on the planet, there's a bunch of lowlives on there, and just general scumbags and criminals and thieves and barbarians. And there's like maybe two or three people that he meets that are, good people. I think so, like a lady there with her kid, and like somebody else, a couple other people that he meets, but mostly everybody's just a criminal there, And so, he's just like, man, this place is trash. But where the my favorite part of the story arc comes in is that the Celestials land on this planet, and they're going to judge this planet. And based on what he sees around, he knows that this planet is going to be destroyed. See, the Celestials, they experiment on planets, and they change or mutate the life on the planet, and then they come back like thousands of years later, and they make a judgment call. If they don't like what they see, they just destroy the whole thing. So he looks up and he sees like the red celestial. I think his name's Erisham, and Erisham is about to judge the planet. So Thor flies over to speak with the celestial, and the celestial just ignores him, and he gets indignant about it. And the celestials are like 1,000 feet tall, you know, 1,000 feet tall. There's different kinds of them, but mostly they're in this armor. You don't know if they're organic or energy, and they're just big humanoid creatures with like heads that look like skyscrapers. And this one is standing on two mountains. So Thor tries to get his attention, tries to speak to him cordially, does not respond whatsoever. Thor gets mad and uses his hammer and blows up one of the mountains that he's standing on, and the thing is still floating there, upright, and it still doesn't acknowledge him. So Thor gets, bent about, saving the planet, because he sees that he's about to judge, and the way this celestial judges the planet, he just simply makes a thumbs down, and then that's the end. The planet blows up, or another celestial, I forgot what it's called. It's kind of like the destroyer in the Thor movies, comes down and destroys a place. So he sees that the celestial is moving his hand in a downward to make the downward thumb motion to destroy the planet. And he throws his hammer and blows up destroys the hand that's making a thumb down motion. He destroys that hand. And then the hand just reforms, and it does it anyway. So Thor is like, I got to stop this. So he starts fighting with them, and I think he somehow staggers or knocks the celestial over some kind of way. And then another even bigger celestial comes down to enact the destruction. And Thor flies up to the top of his head. And you got to understand Thor. He's a god, and he has enhancements. He has his hammer, as everyone knows, and he wears a belt called the Belt of Power. And Thor takes the belt off and wraps it around his hammer and hits this thing in the head and busts his head open, and then gets killed because the thing blows up and takes out the planet and everybody. And then Thor wakes up, and he finds that he's on some kind of it's kind of like Garden of Eden, and he's like, he doesn't know where he is, right? So he's walking around, and he looks over and he hears someone calling out to him, and he finds a version of himself that is one of the Celestials and is taking his form, and it looks just like him, except it's wearing like white or something. It has like a hole in the chest. You can see the galaxy through it. And Celestial's like, we don't usually speak to lower beings, but you were so impassioned about saving this planet that we felt the need to make you understand. He said, when we destroy a planet, everything that is virtuous on it, everything that is worth something is saved. And we put it here. We make a pocket dimension, and we stick it here in their own little paradise planet. That he shows Thor the family and all the good people there, okay, and some of the bad people are there too, just walking around and stuff. And he says, "Look," he said, "you have to trust the universe, and we're going to reach because his hammer got destroyed. Thor's hammer, he was just destroyed, man. Thor got messed up. So they restore his hammer and send him back to where he belongs. After they're making him understand." And I just really like this story because Thor was like hell bent on stopping this insurmountable odds, that was going on. And this is like my favorite Thor story. I just wanted to share that with the public before I begin my commentary. It's my favorite Thor story because he knew he wanted to save these people. The majority of them was scum and unworthy of no redeemable qualities except for a few people. And he makes no bones about it. He's trying to save everyone, and he fails, but it's a virtuous failure. He wins in defeat because he learned something that he didn't know before, that was unknown to him, and it's made a better person after it. And that's my favorite. This is my favorite Thor story. So what you have before you here is the poster for one of my favorite movies from the MCU. It's a lot of people's favorite movie, but I really like the film, and I binge watch it over and over and over again. It's obviously Thor Ragnarok. I love this movie because it deconstructed the Thor character and rebuilt them at the same time. Whatnot. There were some things that normally would have pissed me off, but it worked out in the end. In the movie, Thor has to fight Hela, the goddess of death, who is in the MCU his older sister and first bearer of his hammer, Mjolnir. She destroys his hammer, and in a scuffle with her, he's flung into a unknown quadrant of the universe where he meets the Collector, and there's elements of World War Hulk in there, and a couple other stories. But I really like the movie for its design aesthetic, its multiculturalism, the bright colors, the humor, the action was on point, and Chris Hemsworth brought his A game as far as I'm concerned, and made us see him as a talented comedian. And I also like Tessa Thompson in the film as Valkyrie. At first when I first saw it, that she was cast, I was a little pissy because she didn't look like the Valkyrie from the comics, and I think you should kind of try to keep it comics accurate, especially if it's Norse mythology, which is well, you don't really see any people of color in Norse mythologies. You can adapt the source material and everything, but I think Valkyrie should have been a Caucasian woman. But once I saw the film, she really demonstrated a range of talent. She inhabited the character. She made the character her own pretty much. I just like a lot of her little character bits, being a reprobate, being kind of a degenerate at the start of it, a slaver, uh, alcoholic, ill-tempered, foul, but they never treated her like a stereotypical female character. She was never seen as weak, or I don't even think she needed to be saved at any capacity in the film. She was considered an equal with Thor as a warrior and the Hulk. And they made a nice little trio, in the film. And I really like this film. I like Hela in it. I didn't expect Kate Blanchett. I didn't know what to expect when they cast her, but she made another iconic character that I would put up there on a level with like Wonder Woman and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, as people that are definitively seen as those characters. And I hate that it seemed like she got killed at the end of the film because I would have liked to see her do more as Hela. Like, she's awesome in that role. Tessa Thompson is awesome. There's like awesome females in these roles. And I like the film. I like Taika Waititi's humor and his attention to detail and the look of the film and everything. And there's one like really crap part. Jeff Goldblum plays like the Collector, and he does a really good job in making the character his own. It's just quirky and weird. And I find the character funny and shit. But there's a part where they're walking. It's near the end. There's a slave revolt going on. There's some kind of revolt going on with the gladiators and the people in general. And he's walking with his second in command, and she's like, he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, it's this revolt. The slaves have got a control of their discs or whatever. Their control devices got turned off, and now the slaves are running all over the place." And he's like, "I don't like that word." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" He said the N, and then he catches himself and says the S word. And I'm like, why didn't he just edit that out? That kind of pisses me off. So that was like my only really like down part of the film. Just that little thing, it just slaps in the face due to my ethnicity. But whatever, I know it probably wasn't his intention, but it was it was a Freudian slip that seemed to come to Jeff Goldblum's mind. He skated right through that. Nobody ever, I looked online and nobody really notices that. But I noticed it. I rewind and listened to it. But I'm not here to talk about that right now. I'm here to talk about the fact that a fourth Thor film shall be produced, and it's by the same director, and maybe he'll bring his design team and his sense of humor to it. It's called Thor: Love and Thunder, I believe. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because in the film, Thor's mantle has been passed on to Natalie Portman. She's a Thor, and I have a problem with this, but I'll address that sometime later. But in the movie, Tessa Thompson is the king of Asgard. They made a point of saying that she calls herself the king of Asgard and that she'll be an openly gay character. And I'm just like, well, what's that got to do with anything or whatnot? When I first saw the character, you realize that she may be gay or she's ambiguous sexually, but I accept her as a fully realized character. Why did they have to go out of their way to say that she was a gay character when we already were witness to that she was seen as an equal? Thor, nobody was trying to have sex with her or treat her as any less and whatnot. As a matter of fact, she was very dominant in most of her scenes and whatnot. So the fact that they have to go out of their way and make this statement, publicly about her being a alphabet character, it's it's jarring. And coupled with the appearance of Natalie Portman as the Jane Foster character, and the fact that she'll be given a mantle of Thor, it just jars me. And I find that I can't enjoy Thor Ragnarok as much as I used to, knowing this. I'm not a misogynist or anything, and I feel like some of these people are misandrous. Some of the people that are there. But some people have said, or it's been written that Tessa Thompson is driving some of the narrative regarding her Valkyrie character. And I don't have a problem with the character being called the King of Asgard. I just have a problem with them them saying the gay thing. I'm like, damn, they're saying the gay thing. I don't have a problem with that, but it just gets on my nerves because I feel like it's a double standard. Like when they made Black Panther, some people were angry because the movie had an all black cast, and if a lot of people went out of their way to talk crap about the movie, talking about, well, it's overrated and this and that and other. I'm like, okay, but you don't see a bunch of black people going attacking Iron Man 3, for that Mandarin thing, or some other stuff that's going on. So the whack first Captain America movie had some writing issues. I could go all up and through the Marvel MCU last 22 movies and rip movies apart, like the Incredible Hulk. The one with Ed Norton. That was crap. That was badly directed and badly realized and whatnot. They hired that guy anyway, Louis Ledner anyway. Let him fuck that up. Nobody, I'm tired of this mindset and the double standard. And as far as Tessa Thompson goes, I think she's talented. I've liked her in Thor Ragnarok. I liked her in Westworld, and I've seen her in like one or two other things where she was just really good. She's a really great actress, and she's really knows her craft. I can feel her. I can feel her that she's knows her deal. She knows her job. She knows she's a natural actress. She's powerful and she's great. But the social issues, the bisexual, the non-binary thing, just shoving that up in people's face, it's getting annoying and it's jarring. It's intrusive. These movies are based on comic books. These are things that children read when they were little children. Now, if this stuff is in a Marvel comic, and I believe it is, I've been seeing some of these things online. I don't understand. I have a 3-year-old. I have a son. He's a small child. How can I let him watch this movie? You know, I can answer questions about, gay or lesbian issues or even trans issues to my son, but I'd rather let him find his own life out there. You know, it's about giving my kid the best life he can and letting him naturally become who he is. I don't need an outside force shoving their politics or their mindset onto my kid. If I've actually, he isn't ready for school yet, but I'm considering homeschooling him because of this. And I want my son to be able to enjoy the things I enjoy. I want him to be able to watch the films I watch with me, enjoy these things. Some of them he loves. He knows who the Hulk is. He knows who Iron Man is. I think he knows who Captain America is. He knows Batman. He knows some other characters, even off the cuff characters. He's just three, and he might like Valkyrie. He might like her. But when they're announcing Thor, Love and Thunder, and they're going out of the way to say that she's the gay character, and some people say she's going to have a relationship with Jane Foster in some capacity that may be romantic or otherwise. I don't know what to think about that. How can I take my son to see this? I want my son to enjoy the MCU. And the MCU is part of Marvel, and Marvel's a part of Marvel's a part of Disney. And Disney's supposed to be a company for people, for parents, for families and everything. But I have to look at this. It's irritating, and I'm angry that they made this announcement because I can't enjoy Thor Ragnarok. It irritates me now when I know that what Taika Waititi is going to follow that up with. I did give him a chance and everything, but I cannot watch most of the new slate of films that came after the Infinity Saga concluded. I'm not a fan of what they've done with Spider-Man. I'm definitely, as you know, not a fan of where Thor is going. I want to know what happens to the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I find that every month my interest is diminishing. I don't mind the Shang-Chi thing, but I think that they should give it to someone. They should give it to China. They should have a Chinese director. They need to have like Chinese fight choreographers. It needs to look different. It can't be generic. And when I see the lead, I think maybe it's great or whatever. I've seen some videos online that this guy did of just doing like parkour and exercise stuff. But I really think Mike Moss should have been Shang-Chi, and that's the guy that's in Quentin Tarantino's latest movie as playing. He looks like Bruce Lee in the film. I've seen this guy, and this guy actually played Ryu in some online films that were on YouTube, and he looked just spot on. So I think they should have got him because he has the face more than the new guy. But I'll give that guy a chance. But I'm not going to go run out and see it. I'm probably going to see it when it gets on digital or DVD or Blu-ray. There's nothing in their new slate that even interests me. So getting back to Tessa Thompson, I'm starting to get annoyed with her. I can't really take it anymore. She's annoying. Her agenda. I'm not calling her a feminist or anything, but it seems that's what she is in the negative, not a feminist in the positive. I respect her craft. I respect her as an actress and everything. But this identity politics, this, dare I say, SJW mindset is offensive. It's intrusive. And I don't want it. I don't want it. And I want to be able to take my son to a movie and not have to worry about stuff like this. Am I going to see Valkyrie in bed with Jane Foster? I mean, I doubt it, but probably going to see them hugged up or batting eyes at each other and stuff. And I don't want to have to explain that to my toddler. I want to be able to take him to a movie and enjoy one Marvel film. I mean, I have issues with the way things are going there. It seems like it's just getting more and more generic and by the numbers. They're not really creating everything. I'm not excited. I don't want to care about Eternals. I don't care about any of that nonsense. I don't care about any of this stuff that they have. The Thor film has ruined my love of Ragnarok. And I'm just pissed off and I'm tired of Tessa Thompson and her crap. She's in a relationship with Janelle Monáe. And a year or two ago, maybe more, they made this video that is offensive. And I can't take any shit she says seriously, when you had a video with a bunch of women dancing around wearing these specially designed pants that look like a woman's sexual part. They had a video. These women were dancing around in these pants that look like a woman's sex. I don't know any better way to put it. A woman's stuff. I could be vulgar and crass and actually say the word, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And the women are doing a special dance, and Tessa Thompson had her head shoved through the middle of this thing, facing out towards the audience while her girlfriend was wearing a pair of these weird pants. And I was like, what is this crap? And then I look at the comments under the video and people are like, yeah, this is girl power. I'm like, well, hey, this is what you guys wanted all these centuries. You wanted to vote, and you wanted to get out of the kitchen and do all this stuff so that somebody could make crap like this. I'm not approved by any means, but I'm just feels as a double standard. I don't want to hear anyone talking about any rap videos where you see women shaking their butts and wearing thongs and all this crap when you got uh, lesbians making the same thing or women making the same thing. I mean, I can call attention to Cardi B's Twerk City, where there's nothing but women in the video, and all of the women are wearing thongs or micro bikinis, shaking and jiggling their butts. I think it's a double standard. And I'm just tired of this mindset. Everybody keeps making a big deal about Tessa Thompson's relationship with her girlfriend. And I say, hey, more power to you, man. But can you keep that to yourself as far as your politics go and things like the MCU? Make all the pee pants videos you want, but can we have something that our children can look at with free of your politics? I know a lot of gay people, and I hate to say that, because it sounds like a backhanded thing to say. But I know a lot of them. I know a lot of gay men and women, and we have the best of relationships. And we never really talk about any gay issues. They just talk, oh, how's your girlfriend? How's your boyfriend? We just have regular conversations. We don't, they're never saying, hey, man, I'm gay as hell too. I'm gay. And I don't tell them, hey, I'm a black guy. Like what you guys call African Americans, I could call myself black, but when I get up in the morning, I don't look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm black. I'm a black guy. I woke up black. I'm black. Do gay people wake up and say they're gay every day? I think not, because I have some good friends here. Damn good friends that I've gone to bat for when intolerant people came towards them. I'm not making a disclaimer or nothing. Feel how you want to when you hear this. But as far as the MCU goes, and Disney related products, then we have to have this. I am tired of this crap. I'm tired of it. It's even in the cartoons that I see. And I'll make some commentary about that at another time. I really want to address that. But here we have something that has ruined my love of a Disney product. Basically, that's what it is. It's a product. It's an intellectual property. And I just feel like the social justice nonsense is out of hand. And I keep going on Wikipedia and searching Google and Yahoo to try to find out who's responsible for this. And I'm just going to keep looking. I'm going to find out who it is. And I'm going to put that out in a video, who's responsible for this nonsense. Because I had some associates that used to work at Disney back in the Eisner days. And they assured me, they said if Eisner was there, none of this crap would be going on the way it is. Who knows if they would even have Marvel? Maybe would have nixed it or something. But I think they need to address this. I mean, we've always had these moments. They hide behind the word inclusion. They always hide with our ethnic group. We get the least representation, the least inclusion, and when they do deem to show us this, it's offensive on levels you can't understand. It's offensive, even the inclusion. So I was so happy when they made Black Panther. And I went and saw it. I already knew what the story would be before they ever said anything about it, because I knew the character. I used to read the books when I was a kid. It wasn't really all that interesting, but there's only a couple of stories you can do with somebody as powerful as Black Panther. Someone trying to usurp him or steal his kingdom or stealing stuff from him, which is a lot of the majority of his stories outside of the Avengers or team ups. God damn it, man. Now I got Thor, Love and Thunder. I got to look at Natalie Portman wielding the hammer. I guess that's how they got her back with a big check. I mean, she really was no need for her to come back. I mean, they could have brought back the other love interest that they never explored. Sif. Anybody remember her? Sif. They say the chick was difficult to work with, but God, Natalie Portman, she shredded the Marvels MCU when she said, somebody asked her about it. She said she wasn't a part of that anymore. And she made some choice comments, and here she is back again, walking up there on San Diego Comic Con this year. Walking up there, you got Taika Waititi making a cringe-worthy fool of himself, kneeling to her, and they gave her the hammer. They gave her the prop hammer, and she looked embarrassed holding it. And for me, like if I was Kevin Feige and I look at her holding the hammer and the weird, cringy, fake smile on her face while she's holding the hammer up, you know, I would have been like, "That's a wrap." I'm like, "We ain't doing that." I was like, "Hey, watch Kiki." I ain't doing that. I don't want Natalie Portman as a female Thor. I don't want a female Thor. Let's just have a Thor. Why can't they just find some more Thor stories and adapt those? Make him refine his godhood or find what it means to be a god again. And I thought it was crap in the Endgame. I thought it was a big cop out when they showed New Asgard and it was just a fishing village. And Thor was sitting up in a hovel. I don't care that he got fat or anything. I don't care about that choice of the character because at the end of the movie, you saw that he was still like a badass. I mean, you saw that he was still a badass. I really like the thing. One of my favorite scenes in Endgame, Zach, my favorite scene in Endgame is Thor, Fat Thor, looking out over the diaspora, the destroyed Avengers compound. He's just standing there with his hands in his pocket. He's a chubby guy. And you see Tony and Cap walk up to him, and he's got his hands in his pocket. And they're like, "What's going on?" And Thor says, like, "Oh, he's just sitting over there waiting." And they're talking about Thanos. And then Thor's like, "Hey, we're in agreement. We're killing him, right? We're killing him." And then both Tony and Cap like, "Yeah, we're killing this guy." And Thor's like, "Yeah, I just want us to be on the same page." And you see him stick his hands out of his pockets, and he calls both hammers to him and becomes Thor, like a chubby, big, olden kind of version of Thor with this braided beard. But the visual when he calls the hammers there, and they come to his hands, and he becomes Thor in his armor with like an older Thor. I thought that's awesome, man. And just some of the stuff he did with the hammers, like hitting them together, making these big lightning bolts and all this stuff. I felt like very stakes there, but I hate that the resolution is after that occurs that Thor is like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go on a spaceship with these aliens and run away from my duties again because I haven't learned anything as a character after all this shit and responsibility of killing Thanos like 2 times and being a fat ass and falling off and getting a talk from my mother, going back in time just to get a pep talk from my mom. I'm still gonna run off and I'm gonna just backhandedly hand this village over to Valkyrie, who says she is going to make some changes. But I'm like, aren't they Asgardians? Shouldn't there be warriors there? Shouldn't they be doing warrior training or have some kind of like futuristic look to it or anything? Nope, just a fishing village. We're sitting there playing Fortnite, with Korg, and the Meek, and that's how I feel about Thor: Love and Rockets. When that shit comes out, I'm gonna be sitting at home playing a damn video game or doing something with my son. Teach my son some stuff. I can't take my kid to see that if that's what they're gonna do. I'm going to avoid social justice warrior politics, but I promise the people of these SJWs, some of these other identity politics, the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement, I promise you all that I will teach my son about you. I will teach him the history of you and what it meant to this country in tandem with other things that are going on. It's one of the things that threw a pile on the whole American deal, yeah, it's all of this commentary is about a film that hasn't been made yet. It's probably barely a script there. But I'm just saying, this is what it means to me. When I was a kid, I used to read. I'm old enough where I got comics out of a vending machine for 35 cents. And I've been waiting so long for certain movies from the MCU. And I hope that I'm still alive when they finally theme the crap out of X-Men movie. I just want to see them the way they're supposed to look. Or even that might be SJW, politic to death. And that'll be sad. So Tessa Thompson, a great actress and everything, and all that. I hate to quote a bigot, a racist who happens to be female, but I'm going to say, Miss Thompson, all due respect, I love you. Shut up and act.